Oh, okay. So it says I'm live. So I'm assuming that I'm alive. It says it's waiting for me, but I said I'm live. It's 11:02. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hi. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm exhausted. I got up at 5 a.m. this morning. I drove to Asbury Park, New Jersey, from New Jersey. I then drove from Asbury Park, New Jersey to Columbus, Ohio in 8 hours. So from 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. I didn't break the speed limit at all, I promise. What is the speed limit anyway these days? I don't know. It seems like it ranges anywhere from like 25 on the side streets to 70 on the highway, and then 90 because that's how fast people seem to be driving in the middle of Pennsylvania. Anyway, hi, how's everyone doing? Episode 107 on September 15th. So it's been an eventful day for me. It's been an eventful 4 days for me. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4 days. So I did do Ransanities, if you caught them. They were brief. One was from a car that it took me 28 minutes to go 2 miles in bumper to bumper traffic in New Jersey. I have a cricket down here. So if you hear a cricket noise, it's because there's a cricket in my studio. And then, what else? Oh, I got home late. So I just did a really fast one from New Jersey yesterday as well. So I'm going to it's going to be very chaotic tonight because I'm going to talk about the stuff I missed on the 13th and the 14th, a little bit about the history stuff that went on because I just kind of like breezed over the last couple of days, and even tonight I just didn't write down stuff. I was so tired. I'm just tired. Just can't do it. And then just some stuff about the weekend. And then I'll try and have a full recap maybe tomorrow after I get a little bit of sleep. And I can download the pictures because I couldn't get them all downloaded, or the video and some other things that I have. And then, of course, wait, it only gets better. I When I returned back today, I got home around 3 o'clock. Went down to just go check in the station at 4 o'clock. And guess what happened? Yes, they broke in again. This time they destroyed the door. They cut all the locks that I put on like butter with bolt cutters, and they absolutely destroyed the electrical system. I mean, they ripped all the copper, they ripped all the circuit board. I mean, it's an absolute disaster. Uh, I'm 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 smiling, but I'm so pissed. I'm just so mad. I mean, it just, and the cops are like, we have to go to a murder scene. Sorry. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what are you gonna do anyway? Like, no one's in the building now. I'm like, right, because I had to walk through. Like, oh. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go down tonight after I'm done doing this, and not go on the couch tonight. But I'm gonna go try and bolt the door closed because it's not locked right now. It's open, and I can't get it to close because they destroyed the door. So that's what I got going on tonight. Yes, and I'll show you pictures. I have pictures of everything. So let's see what picture I have. Let me just flip through this and see what we got here. Let's see. So is this a picture? Is this what the hell's going on here? I can't tell. It's supposed to be a picture that I can flip through. I don't know what's happening. Something's wrong with this computer. Sorry. Um, Let me see what's happening. Look, it's Flavor Flav. Yes, Flavor Flav actually was at the show with Public Enemy, and Chuck D and DMC, and it was just hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, it was just hilarious. All right, so what's going on here? Is this okay? So here's this. Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll put that picture up. Hopefully that'll work. Is that this one? There we go. All right. Okay, so this is what they did the first time to the door that I attempted to fix. So I basically just covered the entire doorway with garbage. I threw barrels and buckets and bricks and everything and filled the entire the stairwell up. So they didn't get into that one. And then, they broke in through the window this way. They shattered the window on the second floor. And then, I boarded up the building and I put locks on the front door and I was like, okay, that should take care of it. Um, oh no, you got determined criminals. Let's see, what band is this? Here's a picture of the band. Look, I'm in the sand watching a band. How fun is that? I mean, that was really fun. UB40 in the sand, that was perfect. UB40 did a great set, and it was great seeing UB40 in the sand. I'm just going to tell you, they were so fun. I'm going to get all the set lists too. I was working on getting all the list of the set lists for the bands. Blink 182. I guess they're playing Riverbend tomorrow. They played in Pennsylvania when we were driving out. They played last night, and then they're playing tomorrow in Riverbend. I think, yeah, tomorrow, the 16th. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. Anyway, so yes, look at the sand. We watched UB40 in the sand. It was fun. And it's also now, because there's so many stories, that I actually ran into two of my coworkers, two ex-coworkers from like years ago, and they both worked in the same department at the same time together. How funny is that? And the one was here. They were both here, but one's in New York and one's in New Jersey. And one was working at the event, one was attending the event. They didn't know each other were going to be there. They ran into each other, and I ran into both of them. Is that just, I mean, too bizarre or what? My old promotions director, my old marketing director. Just crazy. And then twin brother of a guy I know from here, and then ran into the sister of a girl that used to work at the radio station in sales years ago, and she lives in like New Jersey now as well. So this is crazy, running into this is just so random. The most densely populated state in the union, and I'm running into like half a dozen people. Just Randy boy. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. So yeah, that happened multiple times this weekend, multiple times. In a crowd of 40,000 plus. I just bizarre to me that I just run into people like that. Here's bumper to bumper traffic in the New Jersey Parkway. So if you've never been to New Jersey, so that's 5 lanes of traffic, stopped dead, bumper to bumper. This is like 11 o'clock at night. There's that many cars. And the beauty of it was that it was construction. So they said 5 lanes to 2 lanes with no notice. It was like, 3 lanes are closed right here. And it was just like miles of stop traffic because no one in New Jersey is merging. Trust me. You think people don't know how to or don't want to merge in Ohio? Wait till you get to New Jersey. Dude, they're like letting their bumpers touch each other before they let cars in. They're like, I'm not moving. You just do it. It's just hardcore. So feel free to please drive in New Jersey anytime. And people wonder why they think I'm such a good driver / scares the crap out of them when I drive, because I grew up in that. That kind of craziness. More bands I saw. Look, I saw Spoon. They were fun. Played all the good songs I liked. What else? Oh, that's me with a really blurry picture. Kind of crowded in there. I don't know what band that was, but that was close. Here's the Middle Finger by Blink 182. Well, On Fire. More Blink 182, Middle Finger, On Fire. This was Greetings from Asbury Park. Let's see, what else? Oh, this was this morning. This was the sunrise this morning because I was literally driving during the sunrise because it was that freaking early. I wasn't happy about it. Trust me. I made a video, but I don't know if I'm going to post it because I just look like absolute crap. Man, I just was like, that happens. Oh, and this one. Sorry, my friend might watch this. He's going to be mad, but yeah, this while driving. I'm just going to take. I'm just feeling a little sleepy and out in a second. Literally, I've never seen anyone just like snoring, like literally talking to me 1 second, then snoring the next. It was pretty funny. And then I came home to this. Look. Literally, they cut the chains like it was, nothing. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much for that. I'm really excited about this now. And then look, here's what the electrical panel looks like after you've cut all the wires out of it. And it can no longer be serviced or usable ever. Right. And that was all wires too. And now it's all gone. Oh, and this, I was like, are you kidding me? Because I had to go to Lowe's to get stuff. Seriously, they got a freaking abominable snowman and set up there, and there's a skeleton right next to it. Like, you've got Santa above a skeleton. Like, come on, bro. Really? It's too much for Christmas. I'm sorry. I just can't. Okay, I think that's all the pictures. So that's it. No more pictures. Done. At least for today. The rest I couldn't download fast enough because I'm like, so sorry. All right, let's see. Things. Well, I can tell you what the set lists were. I did get that done. Sorry, let me just push this out here. I have the set list. So Blink's set list last night was pretty Blink. So the one thing I noticed, and I made a couple notes of some of the set lists and some of the songs, is that even Public Enemy, he's like, Flavor Flav's like, he's like, all right, this is the new song. Who wants to hear the new music? And literally people are like, no, because they just want to hear old stuff. We don't care about your new music, And most of the bands are like, oh, this is our new album. This is our new album. Blink-182, absolutely not. They did not play a single new song. They didn't say anything about new music. They just belted through just nonstop. And I mean, they did 22 songs? 22 songs in their 90-minute set. Let's see. Rock Show, First Aid, Josie, Anthem Part 1, Online Songs, Eminem, Fuckface, Dumpweed, Feeling This Down, Turpentine, Can't Go Back, Wishing Well, Stay Together for the Kids, Roller Coaster, Dance With Me, I Miss You More Than You Know, Hope, that's the Descendants cover. That's What's My Age Again, All the Small Things, Damn It, and then Bruce Springsteen covered Dancing in the Dark while they danced in the dark at the end. So yeah, just blasted through 22 songs of just pure energy, Blink-182. Which that's what you expect. It was so funny because Lenny Kravitz played on the same stage, the big surf stage, right before, in between Sublime. But so got fairly close for Lenny, and then I was with my buddy, and I said, so just watch. There's going to be this turnover. There's all the people that are older, that are up close, are just going to filter back through, and you watch all the young kids are just going to filter forward. I said, so just as they start to filter back, just start moving forward. And that's what happened. It was this huge, giant transition of people that were leaving. And I'm just like, yeah, just casually walk forward and, finding a nice close space. And, it was like closer, closer, closer. I'm like, okay, we're literally now 10 rows, 10 people from the front of the stage because it was such a shift. So that's where I stood for Blink, where it was, couldn't even get near it for Hozier because it was an older crowd and they were sitting sitting on their butts because you couldn't have blankets or chairs or anything. But it was just this madhouse of people for Hozier. So that was the Blink set. Lenny's set was actually, nice too. But he only did 13 songs because again, he's slower. And he's singing, and he's not just ripping these things through. He did Bring It On, Minister of Rock and Roll, TK421, I Belong to You, Dig In, Believe, Paralyzed, Always on the Run, It Ain't Over Till It's Over, American Woman, the Guess Who cover American Woman, Again, Fly Away, and Are You Going My Way, which, again, he just ripped it up. And he definitely, I got to admit, Lenny has to be probably one of the coolest people on the planet. He's just, he exudes the cool. He really does. He's got the dark shades up there. He's like, is everybody good? Good. He picks the shades up, making sure, there's crap going out and are you behaving out there? Not causing any crap? Genuinely concerned. And then just rips it up. Yeah, you have to love the cool of Lenny Kravitz. And then Public Enemy only had an 8-song set list because the songs were long and they just talk so much. Flavor Flav is just yapping, blah, 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 blah. He's telling stories and they're like the intro to every one of his things. He's, talk about, this and this and this and I was, getting out of the car, and I almost got, as I stepped in the car, I almost got hit, and he jumps into the song, and it's just like hilarious. Boy. So we just had to laugh the whole time. But they did Don't Believe the Hype, which, again, sounded great. We were all amazed they actually showed up. I mean, complete stranger were like, well, they actually made it. Okay. So I think everyone, it was also probably like the whitest audience I've ever seen at a Public Enemy show ever in my entire life. But Don't Believe the Hype, it was great. And then 911 is a joke. Then Harder Than You Think. And then they did Walk This Way with Run DMC. DMC was there. So they pulled up on stage. I was like, there's got to be some special guests. And sure enough, they did Walk This Way and DMC was there. And then they did It's Tricky with DMC. And I'm like, okay. I was like, that's great. It was so much fun. And then they did Fight the Power, Bring the Noise, and then State of the Union, basically shut the fuck up. So it was, very, very charged set list. It was really, really a good one. And, again, it's Public Enemy. Who is, we were like, who's actually going to show up? Is this actually going to be what it was? So it was amazing. It was a wonderful thing. And then let's see, I have the Spoon set list also. And Spoon was great. They did a nice set too. 13 songs out of it. So Jonathan Fisk, The Hardest Cut. You've Got Your Cherry Bomb, I Turn My Camera On, My Mathematical Mind, The Way We Get By, My Little Japanese Cigarette Case, Don't You Ever, that's the Natural History cover, The Underdog, I Ain't the One, Wild, I Summon You, and Got Nothing. So again, it was a good, solid set list. TV on the Radio was also really good. I'll get that set list for TV on the Radio. They were great. Really, really enjoyed that. Hosier was good. I mean, yeah, it's Hosier. I mean, he headlines because he's in the peak. He's at the top of his game. Sounds great. And it's funny because I was looking and Take Me to Church was released on the 13th, 2013. So on 2013, so just, like 12 years ago is when he released Take Me to Church. Like 2 days ago. So the day before he played was the 13th anniversary or the 12th anniversary, 13th anniversary of when he actually released that song. So of course, it was just this very bluesy. Saturday was very sort of bluesy and gospel-y. Alabama Shakes was there and good energy, but definitely a little more. And then Sunday was much more rock and roll. It was a very different crowd, a younger crowd on Sunday, a little older crowd on Saturday. And Saturday wasn't as crowded, for sure. There was a lot more, ability to move around and have some space, whereas Sunday was just ridiculous. It was just packed, which is fine. Especially with my completely only GA wristband that I have not had the privilege of being with the unwashed masses for 35 years. So I really appreciated that. Trust me. Not that I'm jaded to shit, but I'm so jaded to shit. It's not even funny. I completely, was like, okay, so we have to walk back and forth between these stages that many times. I'm like, so no golf carts picking me up and taking me? I'm like, I've got blisters on my feet from these sandals in the sand. Okay. And I was like, wait, I have to have a clear backpack. So, I had my little clear backpack and I was very fashionable. Don't worry. Completely fashionable. No, not even close. But yeah, it was good. So let's see. Quick highlights of borns, dies, and things that happened. That way we won't make this too long because I'm tired. My voice is going. And like I said, I'm literally going to go drive and try and secure the building tonight because I'm not really, honestly, if you have any really good ideas of how to secure the building, and don't say booby traps and don't say sit there with a gun because neither of those is going to happen. But yeah, I have to actually do that because the door is pretty much, you can pretty much just yank on it and rip it open because they destroyed it. I don't know what they used. It was quiet because there is someone that lives somewhat close that I would assume would call the police if she heard banging noises, even though she can't stand me and complain to the city about me all the time. Thanks so much for that. Am I a horrible person? I just don't know anymore. Apparently I am. Anyway, on 9/13 anniversary of Tupac, because he died 6 days later after getting shot. Gary Rich Rather of RU Speedwagon left us in 15. Grant Hart of Husker Du left us on the 13th in 2017. Eddie Money left us in 19. Patrick Swayze, he also left us 9/14 in 09. Johnny Ramone, we lost Johnny Ramone on Saturday 04 in 04, but on the 14th. Harry Dean Stanton, he was an actor. He was in The Cool Hand Luke and other stuff. He lived to be 91, but we lost him. He was also a singer. Rick Ocasek of the Cars, we lost in 19. I have a picture with Rick Ocasek of the Cars, and he was from Ohio. Who knew? And then Tito Jackson, we lost Tito. Grace Kelly and Norm Macdonald, also we lost these past few days. Anniversary of, we didn't lose them the last couple of days, the anniversary of losing them passing. Birthdays, so we had Mel Torme, The Velvet Fog. Now I think Mel Torme, I was trying to think, there was a TV show, I think it was Night Court, that always talked about Mel Torme and had him as a guest star forever. So when I saw Mel Torme, I was like, wait, The Velvet Fog. And it was, they just called him The Velvet Fog apparently. Peter Cetera from Chicago, 25 or 624, born on this day. Craig McRae, Foghat. And actually I have a picture with Craig McRae from Foghat because I met him. They did a little cameo sting at the Big Room and made a movie out of it. Randy Jones, birthday, Randy Jones. Randy Jones is the cowboy on The Village People. You know, Randy Jones. Steve Kirby of The Church. His birthday was the other day. Steve Kirby of The Church. Now I have a really funny story of Steve Kirby in The Church. So met Steve Kirby. He did a Big Room. And Steve, we talked to Steve and hung out. And Steve likes to drink scotch. And he's very English. And then we went down to Cincinnati and saw him play as well. And he remember, he's like, Randy. He's like, how about another scotch? I was like, sure. So my friend gives me grief about that all the time. He goes, remember Steve Kirby? He's like, Randy, how about another scotch? I'm like, sure, Steve. No problem, buddy. So we got to hang out with Steve Kirby, and it was just very funny. Because, he was like, I'll take another scotch, Randy. And I'm like, bro. I'm like, when did I become your personal bartender here? What's going on with this? And he wants 18-year-old Macallan. Because, of course, he's British from over there, and he expects something just fabulous. Vinny Aspis of Black Sabbath birthday was the other day. Stephen Perkins of Jane's Addiction. We're not going to see him anymore with Jane's Addiction. I have a feeling that band is done. Perry Farrell just melted down. Don't do drugs, kids. I'm just telling you, don't do drugs. I've met Perry. Perry always seemed so, I don't know, stressed. Let's put it that way. Very high-strung. You think I'm high-strung. Perry Farrell, a little more high-strung. Just a wee bit. Also, Fiona Apple's birthday was the other day. I love Fiona Apple. Criminal? Come on, what a great song. And then yesterday, Bowser of Sha-Na-Na had a birthday. Come on. Everyone had to love Bowser of Sha-Na-Na. Fred Sonic Smith of the MC5. Great band. Come on. Mike McCoy of Drive-By Truckers, birthday. John Poole of The Cars, there she goes. Craig Martyr of Everclear, and Amy Winehouse, her birthday was their day as well. And then today we've got Les Braird, the Hippie Shake, the Hippie Shake. I was like, wait, the Hippie Shake. I had to listen to it. I'm like, oh, right, I know that song. That's really funny. The Hippie Shake. Sigmund Holy Anderson, of the original and founding member of the Jefferson Airplane. The White Rabbit. That always seems to show up into my set list when I listen to anything that's old. It always falls in there. Damn it. Not paying attention tonight. Sorry. Apologize. Oh, I'm reaching for it. I'll get it fixed. I think. It's a stretch tonight. Sorry. There you go. Come on. There we go. My bad. Sorry, apologies. Like I said, it's been a long ass night, long day. 5 a.m. till 11:30. What's that? 12 going on 24 hours feels like. Um, Miss George crash test dummies. We all know that one. And Paul Thompson and Franz Ferdinand. Been into the station a couple times. Go Franz Ferdinand. All right, then there was a few things that happened. Beatles released yesterday on the 13th. It's the most covered. There's over 2,000 covers of it, and it's the most highly covered song in history by things. Dylan released Hard Rain in 76 on the 13th. Now, oddly enough, Friday night, Dylan played with Willie Nelson and like Sheryl Crow in New Jersey, like just down the street from where this other festival was. So had it happened Friday night, I would have gone and seen Dylan and Willie as well, but it happened Saturday, which coincided with the other show, so no, I already went to that one. Sorry. And then 2013, Hozier released Take Me to Church on the 13th, so the anniversary was one day later, and of course, 12 years later. And 9/14, so yesterday, Meatloaf released Bat Out of Hell, which everybody had a copy of that if they were of age back then. And then Arcade Fire debut album Funeral was released in 2004. And then 9/15, I wrote nothing. 9/15 today because I was like, no, I'm just tired and I couldn't do it. I ran out of time. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. My hand hurts and my legs hurt and my brain hurts and everything. I'm just sore. I'm flat-footed. So standing in sand for hours at a time, my legs were just like... So it was very appropriate that was at the end of the Blink 182 show. They had the giant flaming middle finger because that's what my calves were doing to me. They were just screaming at me, and so was my lower back. And I'm like, yes, I know. I'm flat-footed. I'm standing in sand like for too many hours, not moving. Hey, look, man, it's real. The struggle's real, okay? The sand's cold, and it's flat, and I got flat feet. And that's what happens, okay? So I'm just telling you. So if you don't have flat feet, wear orthopedics. Just be thankful that you don't have flat feet, okay? It's not great, just saying. So let's see. So the bands that I did get to see, Mondo Cosmo, Inhaler, UB40, ZZ Top, Alabama Shakes, LCD Sound System, Hozier, Four Non Blondes, Spoon, TV on the Radio, Public Enemy, Sublime, Lenny Kravitz, and Blink 182. I'll get set lists for all of those, and I'll share what few pictures I took because I didn't take a ton of pictures of the bands because I've taken pictures of bands before and they just sit on my camera roll for 100 years. I'm like, who the hell was that? Why am I so far away? And I'm erasing it. That's what happens. It just does. People that sit and take videos of the stuff, I'm like, are you ever actually going to watch that? You're just going to take a lot of space on your phone. Right. I don't know. You may. I always find that I'm just like, yeah, I saw that. Do I really want to save? I'm like, delete. It just happens. That's the way it works, people. I'm just telling you. So let's see. So, and what other highlights were there? Let's see, highlights. I almost got myself a Corona bucket hat, but they only could do 8 letters. So I figured Randsanity wasn't going to fit. I was just going to do the ANDSINT and then put an RY with a Sharpie, but I waited too long and they all sold out. And I was like, damn it. I went back the next day and I got there late again and I was like, damn it. And even though I knew someone that worked there, my connection did not work. So that was horrible. Wow. Drinking prices so expensive. I was like blown away. Like how expensive? Like $17 for a 25-ounce beer. I'm like, wow. I'm like, man, those are concert prices and then some. Gotta make that money. Let's see what else. Blink 182 stopped their show because Flavor Flav was down in the pit, and they were just like, Tom DeLonge was like, Flav. He's like, boy. I'm like, that's just, of course it is. Because, he just has to inject himself into everything, which is fine. It is Flavor Flav. And you have to appreciate that because why not, right? It was hilarious. What else? What other highlights were there? Nothing. No bad highlights at the event. We did find I found a really good coffee shop. What was it? Coast Coffee? Oh crap! Sorry, I forgot your name already. My bad. But they had the best chocolate chip cookie ever. Like it was like a muffiny chocolate chip cookie. So good. And then they were out of them the next day because of course they were that good. Off coast? I don't know. I forgot. Sorry. I can't do it. Zombie apocalypse after the show, leaving, was pretty good. So many bicycles. So many people riding their bicycles, which is always great to see. And then they just parked them along the whole way. There was people busking. There was a couple of buskers. And I gave the guy his first, he said, my first tip of the night. And I gave him a Randsanity sticker. I have these stickers, and I did stick a few stickers on things in Asbury Park. So if you ever see this, that's what it is. I regret my decision to make them now because they don't say anything. I've talked about this before, and it's like, well, that's great. You know, Nike Swoop, you know what it is, because they spent $1 billion to take the 4 letters away, so you know what it is. Me, I'm just like, oh, sure, you'll totally know what this is. No, you don't. So you see this, you're like, okay, great. There's an R and a triangle and a... So, yeah. That was poor planning on my part. I'll do better on my second set of stickers once I go through the 500 of these I had. No, I didn't get that many. Just kidding. But the busker dude, I gave his first $1, and he's like, my first $1 of the night. Great. And then when I was going back after the show, he's like, hey, the guy who gave the first $1 of the night. I'm like, oh, okay, you remembered me. That's kind of funny. And then I think probably the biggest, the best compliment. Hold on, someone's texting me. Why are they texting me? It's probably the person who I took the pictures with who's probably like, I can't believe you showed me that picture. Oh, it is totally. Offshore coffee. Exactly. Offshore coffee. See? Perfect. Thanks. Appreciate it, Dave. Offshore coffee. And it was something. Best cookies ever. Offshore coffee. Brian Bloom, who used to work with the radio station, who now lives in New Jersey, in Red Bank, New Jersey, of course, was at the show, ran into him, which is hilarious, crazy, and completely coincidental. Didn't know he was going to be there. But it was probably one of the nicest things someone has said to me in a really, really long time, because it was so heartfelt, that he uses me as his barometer for any boss that he has, because I wasn't the kind of person that said, go do this, that I said, come with me and do it with me. And he said he used that as a barometer from the time that he left the radio station with every boss he ever had, because that was sort of what he set as the gold standard, what it should be. And now that he's got, he's got people that work for him, he uses that same, mentality and philosophy of not just go do this, just come with me and I will show you and we'll do it together kind of mentality. And that just made me feel really good that, well, I actually, made a positive impact on somebody that, really took it to have a meaning for them later in life. So that probably was one of the biggest highlights actually of the whole weekend for me. But then I got to see my mom, which was great. My aged 93-year-old mother. And I went for a drive with her. She's like, I have to go do some errands. I said, I'll come with you. And I was like, okay. So I got in the passenger seat of the car with my 93-year-old mother. And I was like, let's go for a drive. Well, we're going to go to Rahway. And we're going to go here to the post office. I'm going to go here. And I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm excited. So I sat in the passenger seat and I didn't say a word. And I let her just drive. And, I got to tell you, 93, completely independent. She drove like a champ. A little bit of a lead foot, maybe doing 40 in a 25. So, she wasn't exactly going slow. And she made it when she would pull out, she would kind of look left and then would go. I'm like, okay, well, I normally give it just a quick look, but she just got, okay, we're good. And I was like, okay. So I just was a little, but drove like, 2 towns over, just back roads. Like, I was like, okay, wow, still got their faculties, like, not like, okay, I'm not sure. No, just like confidence and galore. went to the supermarket, did the shopping, got her stuff, went to another market, went to the post office, did another errand, and I was like, okay. She was like, you're so quiet. I said, well, I didn't want to distract. She goes, that was so polite of you. And I was like, yeah, it was for my own safety, Mom. I didn't want to distract you and have you wreck the car. I mean, being perfectly honest, that was the truth. You know, when you talk to people, you can distract them. I really didn't think distracting her would be the way to go, because normally she probably doesn't drive with anybody or have the music blaring or anything. So I did none of those things because I didn't want her to be A, distracted, and B, again, wreck the car. Just saying. I think that's just me. So if you ever drive with an elderly person, just keep that in mind. Probably don't have conversation. How's your day? How's everything going? You know, how are the grandkids? Just because they're probably A, not used to having somebody in the car with them, so that's a distraction enough, and B, you don't want to get into a car crash, so don't distract them. That's all I'm saying. Oh, crap. I just dropped my pen. Yeah, I did. Screw it. No more notes. So yeah, so those are the bands were great. And that was a nice aside for really the main reason was to visit my mom. And then, you know, seeing Brian and Kerrick and Amy and John and just, again, these people, I'm just like, holy crap, this is so funny running into people, you know, again, at a music festival 500 miles away. It is funny. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. I will be more organized tomorrow, and I will try and I'll probably share some of the same pictures and probably some of the same set lists. I'll try and have them a little more organized. Because like I said, I'm gonna have to go get a drill and a headlamp and see if I can secure the store so that someone doesn't break in tonight. Because the police are like, oh, we can watch it. Oh, hold on. We have to go to a murder scene. I'm like, oh, okay. So we might be a little while. I'm like, yeah, I get that. The priority of my crappy building and the dead guy is probably a little lower. Got it. Which is fine. You do your thing. I totally get it. Such is life. Such is life. Anyway, so thank you so much for being here. I missed being here. Yes and no. I mean, I missed being here because I missed being here, but yeah, I didn't miss being here at all. I was totally happy with being at the beach and enjoying that life. So I could do this from the beach. That would be nice. You know, do this in a different studio with beach wave noises over there instead of cricket noises down here. Just saying. Anyway, I'm going to depart and stop talking because I'm just rambling at this point. Apologies. All right, so thank you. Appreciate you greatly. We'll do this again tomorrow. Like I said, I'll be a little more organized, less chaotic. You know what to do. Faded black. Oh. I really don't want to go fix this stuff.